Hello guys, welcome back. I'm kind of getting a dose of my own medicine, I guess. I'm always advocating wearing masks, and long story short, when I go out on my porch, I don't put one on because I'm on my own fucking porch and I'm about more than 6 feet away from the nearest human being, or should be. Long story short, went to see if my garbage was taken out and wasn't. And I walked a little further to see if I saw roses, and I swear to the Christ above, I thought I saw my rose bush in full bloom. Fucking swear to everything that's holy, I thought I saw this rose bush. I come in and I say, "Hey, who wants some roses?" And Loki's like, "Yeah." So I grab one of the foxballs. I said, "Let's go get some roses, buddy." And I said, "Which way you want to go? Want to go around the house? You want to go this way?" And we decided to go this way. And I'd heard a voice when I came in to tell me to put a mask on. And I was like, I'm not doing that on my property, and I'm going to keep, more than 6 feet away from people. I'm not going out here to infect people. I'm not putting one on my own property, even though in hindsight I should have. And I go to walk out to the rose bush, and it's not fucking there. It was like it was an illusion, okay? There's some Dame's Rocket there, but there's no bright pink roses that I saw. I don't know what the fuck I saw. I'm disappointed, and I looked a couple seconds and looked up and down, made sure I didn't miss anything, kind of turned around, looked at my yard, and I was like, well, there's nothing else out here to collect. Turn to come in, and there's this asshole. He kind of is course correcting. He was heading towards my garbage. He kind of course corrected. And he just kept walking on the road like I didn't see him heading towards my garbage. And he passes right in front of me. Now, I stayed on the road, and I didn't have a fucking ruler, but I was like, son of a bitch. That would explain the voice about putting my mask on. So, if in 2 weeks this channel abruptly closes, you know why I'm dead somewhere. So, yeah, there you go. There's my happy thing for the day. What happened for you? So, yeah, and I was just so outraged. And I went from everything from thinking that fucking asshole to, well, you heard the voice, you should have put a mask on. This is your fault. If you die, it's your fault because you didn't listen to the random voice that said put a mask on. And I'm just pissed off. So wear your mask. Apparently fucking wear these things even in your yard because random assholes. That's why. I mean, what are the fucking chances, guys, of the timing that it took for this jackass to be walking past my fucking yard and walk too fucking close, walk within 6 feet? No, I have had people walk closer than that in the gas station. That's true, and I've made it through so far, but I've always been wearing a mask, and I wasn't wearing one this time. So fuck me, I guess. So I won't know for a couple weeks, because where the fuck am I going to go get a test? And like I said, I always have COVID-like symptoms, so I won't know until it's too late. So that's the happy news today. And I was looking at the news, and somebody was talking about having lost their faith. And it's a Christian singer, and I got out Christian music a while ago, so I wouldn't know who this person is. And he hadn't had faith for some time. He, in fact, as he was growing up in the culture, a typical preacher's kid, he just thought a lot of it was kind of showy bullshit, and he would just push it down. And that's kind of the doubts I had of the church, too. He thought a lot of it was showy bullshit. And the Bible was actually the absolute worst thing for him to read because he came to the reasoned conclusion that a flawed human being just like himself wrote it wasn't the Word of God. And the only tenets for his faith were that the Bible is the absolute Word of God and all the showy bullshit is a legitimate faith. And so he doesn't have a faith now. He said he doesn't believe in God, and he said if God does exist, and he would like for him to. He has to be very different than people think he is, because he said, what about all this terrible shit that happens? Atheists call it the question of evil. Like, if this all-powerful, all-loving God exists, explain starvation in Africa, explain all this other stuff. Now, you could counter that by saying, okay, we have free will, but, then explain natural disasters and everything else. What? And, I don't blame him for losing his faith. I don't blame him for looking around and seeing all the shitty stuff going on in the world, seeing all the self-entitled people, seeing all the suffering, and saying he doesn't have faith anymore. I don't fucking believe him. I had the conversation with Hades last night. And now that I may have signed my fast pass to Valhalla for ignoring a voice, I'm like, well, damn, somebody told me, and I think might have been Legba that told me, and, let's say Legba and I have always had bad interactions together, so if Legba told me to do something, in all likelihood I wouldn't do it because it's just he got nasty today as he sometimes can with me, and I said, this is it, I'm leaving again. And I think it was him that told me, and I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely not doing that because you're the one that told me. And Odin, of course, came back from the grave as soon as he saw trouble. And Odin's like, no, you don't have to be around him. And you don't have to deal with him. And I told Legba, because with me, he can get, well, if you work with him, you know exactly what he's like. And I said, I'm not taking that anymore. And he was looking at me like he was going to strike me dead. And I said, no, I am not taking that from you anymore. And I told him when I came in, I said, if that was your fucking doing, old man, I said, fuck you. I will be in Valhalla for 2 weeks. I'll never have to fucking see you again for an entire eternity. And you do not talk to Legba like that. But I was like, I do not fucking care. If I'm dying, fuck you. So, and Odin was like, "That's my girl. Valhalla it is, sweetie. You'll love it. Women with big boobies and beer." So he writes a special package tour pamphlet for everybody that's going. And I had somebody ask me today, repeatedly ask me, and I don't know who the hell told him, look, he gives specific signs, but none of the gods, when they want to work with us, give us a specific sign. The best we can do, and if anybody tells you otherwise, they're lying, is to try to get a sense of who we think it is. This is why you have to teach yourself as you're coming into another religion or spirituality, whatever you're happy calling it. You have to teach yourself about that god or goddess, and as you learn more, you'll learn things that remind you of them. There are signs Loki uses with me that don't happen for anyone else, and the same thing for other people. There are people that will claim Odin has done specific things for them, and a whole bunch of them get it, and you never get it, and you're like, well, what am I doing wrong? Or maybe it's not Odin because I didn't get the specific sign. Specific signs are horseshit. Um, Generally you'll know it's Loki because he's not shy and he's a fucking pain in the ass. You will know it's Loki. He will see you already busy and he will pile 12 more things on your plate. He saw the shit go down with Legba and he was like, oh yes, I'm gonna go dig up an old wolf is what I'm gonna do. And that was unfortunate, but Legba is the reason I didn't stay in Bhutan, and he's the reason I can't go back home. And I just started to work with Ogu again, but Ogu understands. Ogu's like, Ogu knows. If you push Ogu's buttons, he'll fucking shut down and walk away. So Ogu's the only one that's not upset. He's like, you pushed your buttons. What did you think was gonna happen? So, sometimes you just get the ones you can't work with. And I said, no, I'm not getting on this fucking merry-go-round again. I think because it's kind of the same playbook Odin plays out of be belligerent asshole and then expect you to take it. I'm like, no, I am fucking done. I just buried one. I will bury this one too. I go, woo, back here. And I said, I'm mad. And I said, if that is the way he's going to treat me, if he's going to get openly hostile or, they say Legba controls luck, and if he's going to make it bad for me, fuck him. So, once you've dealt with the old man, you become fatalistic. You're like, yeah, fuck you. I'm going to Valhalla if you do shit to me, so fuck you. So if I do develop COVID and die, I will be in Valhalla with women with big boobies and never-ending beer, apparently, and all the hamburgers and hot dogs I want. Fucking shit, that could have been late with a walk by, I don't fucking know. Or it could have been the old man, because he's made it very clear if he kills me, he gets to recruit me. So it's a long-running joke between us, but yeah. Legba destroys everything. We just never had a good relationship. We never did. I still have his stuff in the house because everybody's too fucking afraid of him to get rid of his stuff. And then I thought, no, he was so fucking mean to me 95% of the time that I put up with a lot of it because I was like, well, I'm the Blanc outsider, and you put up with a lot of shit, like the Lokean, you little white girl or something. And most of them do it from a place of love, but the particular aspect of Legba I got has always treated me like the not good enough outsider. I told him off. Because when Odin builds a wolf, he builds a wolf, and I told him off, and I said, I'm not good enough for you, fuck you. So I've never seen Legba look shocked before. He, he didn't say a damn word, he was just kind of looking at me. I said, no, fuck you. Do you know what I've been through since I left working with the Loa and I started working with the Norse gods? No, fuck you. You're gonna take me out? Fine, I'll be involved. Fuck you, I don't put up with shit anymore. Either treat me right or get out of my life. And those are the last kind of words you want to use with Legba, by the way. The only reason I'm probably alive is that the wolf roared out of the grave yet again and was like, that's my girl. And it feels like the corpse version of Odin is hanging on to me at this point. He's like, that's my girl. She hates everybody. You get 'em, honey. Kill 'em all. So, yeah. So me and a corpse version of Odin against the world, I guess. And look, he was cheering. But it showed me I'd grown. At one time, I would have whimpered and rolled over and took any verbal abuse that Legba wanted to hand out. And now I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm living in a world where my bad choice to not listen to a voice in my head that could be schizophrenia for all I know could have ended my life. So fuck you. I realize that this virus has changed us all. I was watching a horror movie and I was shouting at the characters in the movie like they can hear me, and these entitled rich people, 10 of them, get to go to a cabin. Okay, it's called Don't Blink. It's free on YouTube. And I'm shouting at them, you entitled pussy, it's not like it's COVID. Fuck you. So Loki was looking at me like, wow. I said, those fuckers wouldn't survive 5 minutes. They're not social distancing. They're not wearing masks. So what happens to me? I go out in my own yard and some fucker that's not social distancing and not wearing a mask walks within a couple feet of me. Cheers. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to leave it in the hands of the gods, guys. There's nothing more I can do. But I for one brief moment it looked like I'd be back to working with the Voodoo Loa. And I don't think it's certainly not a racial thing for Legba, by the way. He's just never fucking liked me kind of thing is what it is. I've never been good enough. I've never done enough. I've never met his expectations. He treats people rough, rude, and demeaning. It's kind of a rough sort of love, but he has an extra dose of hatred just for me. So it's like, okay, okay. I've had enough. You can go for once you came because and you have to address him before you light candles. And I was working with OU today, and I thought we were going to establish our relationship, and I was like, no, I'm fucking leaving. He's like, it's my brother, isn't it? I'm like, yes, yes it is. I hate your brother. I hate him so much. I'm gonna bury him alive one of these days. I think I was holding back ears like, oh, fool's looking better and better, isn't it? That's the bad brother you never want to meet. In fact, people in Voodoo pay him to go away, but I'm like, what are you gonna do? Maybe he took me out, I don't know. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm too old for this bullshit. It's 2020, we got a virus raging around that I may have just been exposed to, and fuck it, I feel fatalistic today. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Either I'll be okay or I won't. I didn't not put a mask on in my own yard as some kind of crazy act of rebellion. I thought I would be safe because it was in my own yard and I should be at least 6 feet away from people because some asshole isn't supposed to be going towards my garbage and then veering away and walking right on the edge of my property as I try to walk back towards my house. That's not how my life was supposed to work out, but the universe was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck you. So I will see you guys later. Bye bye.